Hello, we're back. This is video 2. Making these rather short because they're easier to upload. I only have 4 gigs RAM, so well, I last spoke about corruption of the commune. When I got the files in '97, the State Defender's Office called me and said they were short on space and wanted to clean out their storeroom. The case had been closed, so I could come and get the files. My spouse had his case worked up that far, but it's obvious that they didn't even crack the files open to look, or they would have realized it was about a juvenile, and therefore, to the best of my knowledge, those files would have remained locked. As were the files on my son when he was a runaway. I couldn't get those files. I asked for them because they wanted to put me in prison in 1990 for having locks on my doors after DFS told me to put the locks on the doors. We got the locks on. A caseworker came over, and I was scared of these people, so I always have my mother with me so that, for moral support, and she could speak up for me, because I was kind of terrified of them, actually. When they saw him, they said, "That's fine. It's going to be all right." So I still had to go to counseling. So I had Mom go with me. And the counselor asked me how I was doing. I said, "I'm fine. Everything's going to be great. We got the locks on the doors like we're supposed to. It's going to be fine." And her mouth dropped open. And she said, "What? You can't do that. That's illegal." And she picked up the phone and she dialed the police. And my mother said, "What? I have locks on my doors. I bet you have locks on your doors." But she called the police, and I had the summons, but they had the wrong last name on the back of the summons. I had the yellow copy. I'm not sure how that works. Of course, the original is probably white, and then there's a yellow and probably a pink. I had the pink copy. The best I remember, it was I don't know now. I had a copy, but the wrong name was on the back. On the form side of the paper, they had the name right, but I'll always think that was kind of strange. So I went to court. I was still pretty much medicated for depression. I'd been through a lot. And my mom told me later, when she related this to me before she died, that she was scared to death that I was going to plead guilty, which I didn't, because I felt in my heart I wasn't. I've always had a home with locks on the doors. But think about that. That could have become a precedent and could have set a precedent all over this country that locks on my doors were illegal. So Joe and Susie and Mary Lou, all their locks are illegal too. My gosh, then prisons would be illegal, locking your cars, everything. So I kind of sometimes feel they wanted to use me as a scapegoat. But a lot of people had a lot of problems against that prosecutor in that county. I'm not in that county anymore. His wife was appointed the juvenile officer. When I got the files in '97 and opened them, I was totally shocked after I started reading them. And I'm really no genius, I'd say, in that department, if any department. But I could see what was wrong in certain aspects. The big, top 3 were no DNA, no psych eval, and no trial. He basically was put in another county. I was supposed to receive a call. We were supposed to receive a deposition, and we didn't, to let us know when the trial was going to happen. And afterwards, I didn't hear from him for 13 days, but when he did call me, he said that by, shortly after 9 that morning, it was all over with. But I was at the base shopping, and my mom tried to call me at 2:30 to tell me that they said it was going to be at 4:30, but I didn't get home in time to even start down there. That's several counties south of us. But it was already over that morning. So they didn't really want to have a trial. This is the end of part 2.